So overall in 2017, if we were to give you 3 words that would define 2017, it will be the year where you honestly can free your mind, and where freeing your mind needs to be your number one priority. It is time to free your mind. Now, freeing your mind is a fascinating thing when you're living in a world of high polarity. And one of the things that was shown to us in last July was that, number one, Donald Trump would win the election in the United States. And certainly the United States is not the center of the universe, although there are some that would argue with me around that.
Has a big influence on the world, though.
However, 2017 will be largely, it's like a big ship that largely will be directed by, sadly, in my personal humble opinion, forgive me for sharing it, by the egocentric actions of a Donald Trump. Now, here's the blessing of that. And here's what we were told specifically, that starting with the day of the election, which was November 8th, 2016, we would open up a 10-month window of relative stability, that shortly after taking office, coming up here in January 2017, Donald Trump would set out and create an illusion of being a peacemaker, a bridge builder, that the world would appear to be on the brink of a third world war, and Donald Trump would come together with an unlikely partner and become known for having averted this catastrophe. And what I was also told was that this is a temporary thing that will have an illusion. It will cast a greater illusion. And that for light workers, the knowledge of the illusion will be the blessing that will bring forward the hidden sadness into light, so that you can apply the spiritual survival skills and move forward. Now, we just don't have time in this show to give you the spiritual survival skills, so we put it in our January 2017 YouTube video. It's at our YouTube right now. So go to official Shri and Kira at YouTube and watch the video as soon as you're done with the show, because this is kind of like a two-parter. There's so much that half of it is in this radio show and half of it is at YouTube in our video. So with this 10-month window, and Shri and I have really been talking a lot and going deep into our heart as to how to share and what to share, and are feeling so honored and blessed that we were entrusted with this information. We were clearly shown and clearly told that the end of August 2017 through early October 2017, so that window, really with September 8th being kind of like a target time, will be a very powerful moment where a trigger event of large proportion will come forward on the planet, and it will call out the absolute best in those that have prepared for it and the absolute worst in those that are not able to see what's happening. And it will be the direct action of Donald Trump that will determine the future of the planet. So 2017 is a very important year. And it's a year to recognize that more than ever, we have the opportunity as beings of light to be seen and to be taken seriously, let's put it that way, through our presence and continual action, because you never know who is actually more awake than they may show themselves to be.
Each and every one of us is on our path. And while on the surface it may appear that we are asleep to greater truths, that we have closed the door to our hearts, that can change in an instant. And this is why so many human beings seem to rise up into a higher form of consciousness when they've been provoked, whether it's through a tragic experience or a loss or an inspiring moment. And we believe and we trust that the outer world is provoking an opportunity for a higher response in all of us.
And in January 2017, you're going to be given lots of food, so to speak, that will try to enslave your mind into the planetary thought body. Remember, the planetary thought body is made up of all of the sloughed off energies. Oftentimes, it's not conscious, but it's a collective body of thought. And it influences highly the group think, which we've done shows about the group think. So we won't spend a lot of time on that today. But the planetary thought body feeds your mind, and your mind becomes fed through this collective thought. And the predominant energy of that is fear. So if you are including yourself, or if you are obsessed with, or are on this, this journey of I've got to know, I'm addicted to this information or that information, you're actually addicting your mind to the enslavement of the fear of the planetary thought body.
Now, this is important. It's subtle and profound. Our brains have become addicted to drama and negative energy. What do you like to think about? Where do your thoughts become obsessive? Mm-hmm. Usually it's around lack. Usually it's around fear. Usually it's around having witnessed something horrible.
And this is why December was so important, right? Because everyone had to face their greatest fear in December, and I suspect you all did.
And so the human brain actually finds its self-esteem by churning up problems, because it loves to be seen as a problem solver, as a solution maker.
Exactly. That's ego.
But just like Madison Avenue, it has to first create a problem and then run to your rescue and say, I'm going to solve it. And so the brain makes a lousy master. And this is a wonderful opportunity to start bringing forward the spiritual practices that instill peace, that help quiet the mind.
And in January, especially as it sets the stage for this energy of 2017, there is going to be an underlying sadness. Now, you may discover this and go, wait a minute, I don't want to touch this. Well, here's the key, my angels. You need to touch it. You need to discover it, touch it, and then let it go. Because if you try to deny it, then you're actually giving the power of deflection more energy, and you will find yourself actually in greater fear. Because here's what's happening on the planet right now. The energy of fear is predominant in the planetary thought body. Now that we see that there's going to be a rise in this energy of sadness, well, it's basically a mathematical formula. Fear plus sadness equals anger. And anger is all over the planet. And to know that anger will be amplified means that we do have a unique, beautiful opportunity to rise through this energy. This is not a time to be feared. And remember, as of January 8th, starting January 9, we're in a whole new world. And we're already in it, guys. I mean, we're only 7 days away from this. So we're already in that shift, in that turn. And what's most important here is to recognize that if you are afraid, then you need to pay attention. Pay attention to who you're talking to. Pay attention to who you're working with. Pay attention to who you're watching on YouTube. More than ever, it is invaluable to fill yourself with the divine crystalline presence that you are.
And so how does this boil down into daily living? How does this boil down into practical application? And the piece that I want to offer to you right now, before we go say hi to the callers who are patiently standing by, is that we are beings of energy. You are an energy being. Therefore, be sensitive to energy. When we tune in to how we really feel, we open up the doorways of authenticity. We start to find truth. Be attentive to what environments help you relax and expand, and what environments contract and diminish you. The same goes for people. The same goes for the food you eat. Does it nourish you, or does it collapse you? Be sensitive to the energy that you are emanating and inhaling.
Because it's time to free your mind. You are enslaved by the planetary thought body if you have fear as a predominant energy. And if you do, the sadness will try to hide itself because it actually is an amplifier of the fear. Versus if you invoke the sad, maybe you're sad about the outcome of what's happening on the planet. Maybe you're sad about what you're seeing. Maybe you're sad about an event in your own life. That's irrelevant. The key is not to run away from it, but also not to be consumed by it. The key is to witness it, allow it to flow through you, and then thrive through it. Go to YouTube and watch our video because there are spiritual survival skills that are needed as you are freeing your mind for this January 2017 ride. And we have so much more to share, and we have so many callers and so many people have written in. Why don't we say hi?
We're going to do that. We're going to start taking some calls, and we're going to start right at line 1 and say hi.